In today's video, we are going to look at the difference between return and void functions. More specifically, we are going to look at what it means for a function to return a value, what it means for a function to be void, and we're going to compare and contrast when you should use one over the other. So first, we're going to look at return functions, which are definitely the most common kind of functions. Functions that return a value use the return keyword. If a function returns a value, it means you can assign a variable to the value of the function. For example, I have max value equals max of 3629. Well, max is a function which returns a value. It returns 9. Other examples include when you split a string by spaces, it returns a list with those strings in a list. And another example is the length function. It returns the length of a list in this example. So we can assign list length to the length. So this is how we would create a function which returns a value. Suppose I have a very simple function called isEven, which takes a number, and I want to test if this number is even or odd. So I do if number mod 2 is equal to 0, then I would say return true, meaning the output of this function is true, and otherwise false. So a void function does not return a value. It simply performs an action. In void functions, you will never see the keyword return. Examples of void functions we have already been using, one of them, for instance, is the print function. It doesn't return anything, it just displays something to the console. You would not assign a variable to the print function. Another example is the .sort method. It sorts a list in place. You would not assign a variable to the result of sorting. And a last example is, suppose we're inserting something into a list. This performs an action. We do not want to assign a value to whatever task it is doing internally. So if we were to do a void function of the isEven, then it would not return a value, it would simply display whether the number is even or odd. And so in this case, we do the same kind of routine, but instead of returning, we print to the console instead. In this video, we looked at the difference between a function that returns a value and a function that performs an action. In the next video, we will be creating functions that do both of these.